Think slavery ended with Lincoln. Think again. Right now, millions are trapped in invisible chains, debt, fear, tradition. It's 2024, and slavery is a multi-billion-dollar industry thriving in the shadows. Today we're taking you to 10 countries where this horror is a daily reality. This isn't a travel vlog. We're exposing the stories and systems that keep people enslaved. What you'll see is raw and real, but these are human lives, not just statistics. If you believe in shining a light on the darkest corners of our world, hit subscribe. Awareness is the first step toward change. Let's do this together. In Mauritania, slavery is inherited, passed from mother to child. Officially abolished but rarely enforced, the law is just a facade. People are born as property, forced to serve without pay, education, or freedom. Escape is nearly impossible. No money, no documents, no support. Activists fighting this system are harassed and jailed. We met Fatma, who escaped after 30 years. "I didn't know the world outside," she said. In Mauritania, freedom means breaking centuries-old beliefs. No one should be born another's property. India, land of tech, temples, and Bollywood, also hides a crisis. Bonded labor. 8 million people, mostly from lower castes, are trapped by debt. A small loan for a crisis becomes a life sentence, with families, children included, working to repay debts that never shrink. The caste system makes some lives disposable, their labor cheap. India's economic boom is built on the backs of the invisible. The miracle of progress has a hidden cost. The question is, will we keep looking away, or demand change? China, factory to the world, but at what cost? Forced labor, especially of Uyghur minorities in Xinjiang, is hidden behind re-education camps. Millions are detained, forced to work in factories making goods for global brands. Surveillance, indoctrination, and cultural erasure are daily realities. The Made in China label may carry a story of suffering. Beyond Xinjiang, China's hukou system traps rural migrants in low-wage, exploitative jobs. The government denies everything, silences critics, and controls the narrative. But evidence is overwhelming. Economic power is being used to commit massive human rights abuses. Our global supply chains are tangled in these abuses. The world's prosperity shouldn't be built on forced labor. We must demand transparency and accountability. In Pakistan, brick kilns are prisons without walls. Families take small loans, then spend generations repaying debts that only grow. Owners inflate debts, keep workers illiterate, and punish escape attempts. Children as young as 5 work long hours in toxic conditions. Homes are squalid. Freedom is an illusion. Laws exist, but kiln owners' power and corruption keep the system alive. Religious minorities and landless peasants are especially vulnerable. The debt is inherited, ensuring a permanent captive workforce. This is modern feudalism, built brick by brick on human suffering. The cycle is relentless. Breaking it requires more than laws. It needs real enforcement and public will. Until then, the kilns keep burning. North Korea is a nation-sized prison, where forced labor is state policy. Political prison camps, gulags, hold up to 120,000 people, often for life, sometimes for the crime of a relative. Inside, prisoners face starvation, torture, and backbreaking labor. The goal: extermination through work, but forced labor extends beyond the camps. School children, students, and citizens are mobilized for unpaid state projects. Tens of thousands are sent abroad to work, their wages seized by the regime. It's state-sponsored human trafficking, funding a brutal dictatorship. The world rarely sees inside, but the suffering is immense. North Korea's system is a warning. When a government owns its people, freedom dies. The fight for human rights here is urgent and dangerous. We must not look away. Libya, where chaos after Gaddafi's fall led to open-air slave markets. Migrants fleeing war and poverty are captured, detained, and sold like cattle. Detention centers are torture chambers. Families are extorted for ransom. Those who can't pay are auctioned for forced labor or sexual slavery. International policies meant to stop migration have fueled this crisis. By funding Libyan forces to intercept migrants, Europe sends people back to their tormentors. Human life has become a commodity. In the power vacuum, traffickers thrive. The world's indifference is part of the problem. We must demand better. Uzbekistan's white gold, cotton, was picked by over 1 million forced laborers each year. The government conscripted teachers, doctors, even students for the harvest. Refusal meant punishment, loss of jobs or expulsion from school. Conditions were harsh, profits went to the elite. But international pressure worked. Boycotts and activism forced reforms. The government ended systematic forced labor in recent years. Problems remain, but it's proof that global awareness can drive change. Consumer action matters. Uzbekistan shows that even entrenched systems can be broken. Change is possible. The DRC's minerals power our phones, laptops, and electric cars. But this wealth is a curse. Tens of thousands, including children, mine cobalt in deadly hand-dug pits. Collapsing tunnels, toxic dust, and starvation wages are daily realities. Children are sent into the most dangerous tunnels for $1 a day. Armed militias profit, fueling conflict and violence. Tech companies promise audits, but child labor persists. The demand for cobalt is relentless. The DRC is rich underground, but its people live in poverty and exploitation. Our tech comes at a human cost. We must demand ethical supply chains. Sudan's wars revived chattel slavery, abduction, forced labor, and sexual slavery. Militias raided villages, enslaving women and children, erasing their identities. Boys became child soldiers, girls domestic slaves. Even after peace, thousands remain missing, likely still in bondage. Ongoing conflict fuels new waves of exploitation. The scars run deep, making reconciliation hard. War tears apart the social fabric, reviving humanity's darkest practices. The world must not forget Sudan's stolen lives. Afghanistan's crisis has pushed families to desperate measures. Child labor, forced marriage, and even selling children are survival strategies. Kids work in streets and factories, losing their childhoods and futures. Child marriage is rampant. Girls as young as 8 are sold to feed families. It's a transaction born of hunger and despair. Parents sell children for a few $100s to buy food. The conflict and economic collapse have created a perfect storm for exploitation. A generation is being lost. The world's response will shape their future. We cannot look away. We've seen the chains of modern slavery in 10 countries, but this isn't just their story. It's ours. The clothes we wear, the phones we use, connect us to these hidden horrors. Now that you know, don't look away. Talk about it. Share this video. Awareness is a light. Slavery thrives in darkness. Subscribe if you haven't. Every click helps us keep telling these stories. Remember, the people we met are survivors, not just victims. Change is possible. We saw it in Uzbekistan. Be a conscious consumer. Support organizations fighting trafficking. Demand action from governments and corporations. Together, we can break these chains. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. The first step is to see. The next is to act.